Elaine Stritch is a lady who has had roles on Broadway and in show business that range from Virginia Woolf to Sail Away to My Sister Eileen. There must be something special about your role in Company that does attract you.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is indeed. It's I have a feeling that there's something very unreal about life. This is just lately I know these are brilliant words, and everybody's going to fall down. No, I'm just talking off the top of my head. I feel that the older I get and the more I see what goes on around me, I have a feeling of unreality that's going on in the world today, and I think that's what the musical is about. It's a absolute, total departure, as a matter of fact, from the ordinary run-of-the-mill musical, which I think is going out of style anyway. I mean, the idea of scene, song. I mean, I think everything today has to have a point of view, or it's going to go right out the window. Do you understand what I'm saying? You know, what I feel about it. And the other night, maybe you get sharper after 6 o'clock, I don't know. But I said something that I liked for a change. Usually my lines are meant to please other people, but I like something that I said for a change. And I said that I thought it was the sophisticated version of Hair. It's the, I don't want to call myself the older generation, but it's the Life Begins At, right?
Mm-hmm.
This musical is about people who are between the ages of 35 and 45, married couples. And to me, it's a kind of a sophisticated attack or attempt, or whatever you want to call it, at what the kids are doing today, like the rock musical that absolutely turned the whole world upside down. I think it's almost like a Noel Coward version of rock and roll. Do you know what I'm saying?
I think well said.
Well, thank you. But I really, as I said before, I like that, what do you call it, analogy, simile, whatever. But and it's totally real to me. It's the first play. You talked about my range of straight plays and musicals, which is a cinch. That doesn't mean anything. It doesn't make any difference whether the orchestra's playing or not. It's all the same thing, you know. You're trying to get something across to an audience, and whether you sing it or speak it is of no interest to me at all. And one is just like the other. And this is the first thing I've ever been involved in my life that I really didn't. I ask questions all the time, which is healthy, I guess. But I don't ask any questions about this musical, because the more I rehearse it and every day I work in it, it becomes clearer to me.
What else do you mean about the fact that Company is a departure from musicals which have a scene and a song and a scene and a song?
When I say a departure, Company does have a scene and a song and a scene and a song, but it's put together in an entirely new, original way, as far as I'm concerned. It's not, first of all, the interesting thing about the musical is that, for my money, I'm an old repertory theater girl at heart, and I really love the theater, and I love musicals, but I like them to mean something. I'm not anti-star system. I think it's wonderful to have stars. I think they're exciting and marvelous and interesting. But the thing that really captures me about this musical is there is no star. Everybody is a star. And I remember when Hal Prince called me the first time about this show. I remember what he said on the phone. It was very funny. I told every actor in New York. He said, "How would you feel about doing a show for me on Broadway next year?" And I practically jumped through the phone. I said, "What do you mean, how would I feel about doing a show?" But I thought it was a rather nice way of asking you to go to work. And he commented to someone later that week that he was very impressed with an honest enthusiasm of a performer and not someone who was saying, "Well, I'd like to read the script," and, you know. But everybody in this show is I almost swore, is a star to me. I mean, everybody is so individual and so good in their own thing that that's exciting to me, as opposed to the musical that's all about one woman or all about, you know what I'm saying? And in that way, it's very, and I think the title, it practically says it, certainly to people in the theater. You know, it's a company of performers, and I love that, and I think it's very healthy. And not to mention that the writer is just, I think, fantastic, George Furth. It's just fantastic. And it's new stuff, and you know, when we were talking in the cab this morning, and we might as well let the whole world know, we got the same cab this morning on First Avenue. Came from different apartments, but got in the same cab. But anyway, I think one of the reasons that Hal is so crazy about this show is that it's very hip talk. It's very now and very today, and the way people that are kind of in talk, if you know what I mean. And but it's not written in a way to fool an audience, because I just am so crazy about audiences that I can't wait. As much as I love Hal Prince, I can't wait to get rid of him. I can't wait to get him out of my life. I'm not kidding, because the real fun of the theater is when they all leave you alone. And of course, I've always, somebody, you know that question about why did you go into the theater? It always gets to a point with me when I say that because from 8:40 to 11, nobody can hurt you. And it's really quite true. It's a magic time that anyone who hasn't performed would be hard to understand. But you are picked at a lot when you're talented. And boy, when that curtain goes up, I'm telling you, I just tell them all to
Right.
fly a kite, right? something like that, I think, you know. And that doesn't mean that I don't respect every bit of help and love, you know, everybody that I work with, especially in this company. But oh boy, I just think that's the best fun of all. And then they're the ones that tell you exactly where you're at, you know.
You've been saying all kinds of things about the director-producer of your new musical company, Hal Prince, about the writer, George Furth, songwriter, Steve Sondheim, your fellow players. You haven't told me what your role is.
You had to get to that, didn't you?
Sometime.
I told you the audience would tell me what that was all about. No, I'm kidding. It's I almost think of Joanne in the play as a member of the audience. I think she observes. She's her own self, but I think she's a dame who's way ahead of her time, and I think she knows too much. She knows too much to be happy, or she's kind of scary, as a matter of fact. Am I getting through to you at all, or do I give you a picture of anything?
Of a scary lady ahead of her time.
Well, that's a pretty good part, isn't it? Isn't that a pretty good part?
How many songs do you have?
I only have one, but I have 12.
I beg your pardon?
That's the idea of the show. You see, you almost perform like a member of a chorus in a musical, because all of us do all of the songs, and then we have our own particular personality, characteristic, you know.
Are you one of Dean Jones's married friends?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Who's your husband?
I think I'm the only woman in the company who isn't married, I think. Isn't that right, Jim?
You're one of his unmarried
My
friends.
stage manager's looking at me. Do you see the way he's looking at me? So I have to go. I'm married, yes, in the play. And I'm not married in real life, which I would like put on the air constantly. And every opportunity that you have to play this tape, I want you to know that I'm terribly... I said to Hal when I went into rehearsal, I wanted this to be a hit, which I know it will be, and I also wanted to accomplish that this year, 1970. I want to get married very badly.
All right, fellows, it's not leap year, but for Elaine Stritch, it is.
It is, and there's a line in the play that says, I don't want to marry... You just can't marry somebody, you have to marry somebody. So I'd like that to go out as a... If we're going to get me a husband, I just don't want to do it for just the idea of it. But I would like it to work out. I think it'd be great fun.